Hey everybody, what is up? It's Zero, and we are back here today with another monster guide. Um, Today we're going to be looking at the Inugamis. I'm going to go over the different Inugamis, which ones are good, which ones are not so good, which ones are used where, and a lot of that information and some rune um, possibilities that you could put on these monsters. So, jumping right into it, we are going to go with the Fire Inugami, which is Rauk. And early game, Fatal Blade will work just fine on him. You definitely want him to be a bit quick, but you want him to do a lot of damage. Uh, Mine's only sitting at about a 142-ish speed, fairly slow, but he's got a decent crit. It could be higher. It could easily be higher, and a decent crit damage. Um, he's really popular right now in some of the dungeons, in some of the dimensional hole, the where you do the second awakenings. Believe it's the dimensional hole. He's really popular on some speedier teams in there. Um, but all around, solid unit. Um, his first skill has a 30% chance to keep going. It can proc pretty good sometimes, sometimes not so much. His second attack allows him to attack with two other allies, which is good because it's uh, turn meter, and it also allows them to reset their cooldowns when they attack with him. Um, Really good in Necro with some multi-hit first skill units like Fran, Lauren, the Harpu, Colleen. Um, Really good with some of those units because the multi hits take the shield down faster. So all in all, he's a really really solid unit. Um, you want to do attack crit attack or attack crit damage attack, especially early game. Either crit rate or crit damage does not matter. Um, Fatal Blade in the beginning. Eventually, you would probably get him on a Rage Blade. Mine is still on a Fatal Blade, and I just haven't really upgraded him much. He does really well right where he's at. Um, 2000 attack, 15, 16k hit HP. He does really, really good where I've got him. Late game, you definitely want to go Rage Blade with him. You could do speed crit damage attack, or you could do attack crit damage attack if you've got the speed subtats to do him. But you really just want him to be like a really heavy damage dealer, is what you want to do with him. And then next is going to be the Light Inugami. Also, by the way, the Fire Inugami can be farmed from Feynman Volcano. So, early game, as you're farming food, hope that you get some of those to drop. You can feed them into each other to skill them up. So, that's always really good there. But yeah, and then the Light Inugami is a secret dungeon. You can get them on Sundays or any day that the light dungeon is open. You can get him from there. He is going to be early game, probably best on a swift focus or a swift energy, depending on what you have available. I mentioned the focus for his skill 2 because it is a strip. It removes all beneficial effects, and with him being a second awakened, it also adds an attack bar recovery if you attack the enemy who has no beneficial effects. Um, but You definitely want him to have a decent amount of accuracy. Mine's sitting at almost 80%. Damage is not really. You just want him super fast and able to strip. His third skill is a heal, and it also gives a attack bar. It also fills the attack bar. So you want him taking a lot of turns so he can keep this off of cooldown so he can use it to heal your party. You want him to be using this depending on where you use him. He's pretty good in giants. Early game, he's good for all the for giants and dragons. Um, that's where he would be used the most. You could use him early on in TOA to farm up that ladder. You could use him as a healer in some arena early game. Um, Once you get the Fran Lauren combo, you will kind of phase him out and not use him as often. He's good in the Essence dungeons. You can throw him in there if you want. Um, but I don't use mine anywhere near as often as I did coming up through the early and mid game. He's really, really strong early and mid game. Um, so late game, you could go violent, but it would probably be better for you to stay on Swift. Mine is currently on Swift Focus. That's most of the time that's where he needs to be. A Swift Focus. You want him quick. Mine's not even that quick. He's only sitting at a 180. If you can push him to about 200, that would probably be better. You'd want him close to being as fast as your Bernard or as your Spectra. You'd want him about put 200, just at or just under 200 would be probably perfect for him, and that's where you'd want to leave him. Swift Focus all the way through, that's where I would leave him, because once you do get the Fran Lauren combo, you will kind of phase him out of being used so often. You'll use him again when you second awaken him, which will be really good sustain for that team. He was one of the first ones I awakened just because I was using him, Fran, Lauren, and my Water Magic Knight, and it was not too bad because I had the double heals going on, so it wasn't too bad at all. But that's how you would use him. He'd be good in TOA. Crow, the Dark Inugami, is next. He is also a secret dungeon on the Dark Day, which is tomorrow. If you're on global, tomorrow is the Dark Day, and he is good in a lot of places. He's good in the rifts. He is good with all of the different rift beasts: the fire, the water, the light, the dark, the wind. He's good in all those places. He's good in all three dungeons. He's good to get subbed in there. For a decent team, you could use him, Lucian, Fran, Lauren, and another damage dealer of some type. In Giants, you could use the Windcap. You could use the Water Magic Knight if you wanted to. But yes, he is really good for all of your dungeon teams, all three of them: Giants, Necro, Dragons. Really good. You want to build him similar to the way you would build your Rauk. You want him a bit tanky. You want him to be able to take some hits, but you want him to deal massive damage. His first skill is similar to Rauk's, but his it does the defense down just like Rauk's does, but he has a chance to inflict continuous damage on his first attack. He's got the team up, but his team up, the damage increases by 20% for each harmful effect on the enemy. Now, I believe this is when he's second awakened. You get the damage increase for harmful effects on skill 2, and you also have it on skill 3. Skill 3 is his nuke skill, and then they've added it to here. His damage increases, and it also applies to whoever's attacking with him. So, very, very, very strong unit. Get him if you haven't got him already. Skill him up. Second Awakening, very, very strong unit. You want to do either Rage Blade or Fatal Blade. I believe mine is on a Rage Blade set. His crit rate sucks. I do need to do some work on his crit rate. And he's a little bit low on HP. He is not anywhere near as statted out as my Rauk is. He does need some work. He still needs some TLC. His accuracy, you could put it on there if you want to keep landing those continuous damages because they do count as the debuffs. So getting him on a team that deals a lot of dots or has a lot of debuffs with them, like with Lauren, he pairs up really good with Lauren because she's got the defense break, she's got the heal block, she's got the speed down, she's got all of the debuffs, and then Fran's also got the attack break on her skill 1. So yeah, stacking up those debuffs and let him jump in there nuke is awesome. It's definitely a big plus. You could use him in your TOA team until you build a decent auto team. You can use him going up through some of the TOA. He's good in a lot of places. The water Inugami, not used much, mainly for food. Not a whole lot of use with the water Inugami. The wind one is pretty good early. You could put him on a Giants team for one of your damage dealers if you have the spot. If you have him, the wind one is not too terrible. He's based off of defense, and he deals damage proportionate to the defense to the enemy target, and if the target dies, you get another turn. It also deals more damage as the enemy's HP status goes down. He's got the remove beneficial effects also, and then he's also got the defense debuff with his first skill. He's really good early if you want to put him in a Giants team if you're missing some of the units or if you haven't pulled them from scrolls. He would be pretty good there, but that's about it. The fire, the light, and the dark Inugamis are definitely the go-tos as far as the ones you want. And the fire, again, comes from Feynman. The light and dark are both in secret dungeons, so you can get them. And that's probably what I will work on tomorrow on my free-to-play account, is probably trying to get him, because adding him to my team this early on that account would be awesome. But those are the Inugamis. And I will definitely get some more monster videos out of there going through. Probably going to focus on the 2 and 3 star monsters. I'm doing the most common ones first, just because they are solid units, and there are some other ones out there as I get to the other units. But these ones, more of their varieties are used. So I'm hitting these up because if you pull basically any of these, you can use them at some point in the game until you get the other ones to kind of trade them off. In example of the wind, you can use the wind in Giants until you can get the dark, and they're just awesome units. But those are my recommendations. Again, Fire Inugami, Fatal Blade until late game. Then you could do Rage Blade. I would say attack, crit damage, attack with some good speed on some of the runes, the substats. Same thing with the Crow. Fatal Blade early, attack, crit damage, attack with some good crit and speed in substats. And then you could switch to Rage Blade later. And then your light Inugami, I would say go Swift Focus. and do speed HP. That'll probably be your best option for him in your early and mid game runs until you get your Lorne Fran combo. But he is still a very, very solid unit. But those are my recommendations. Thank you, everyone, for listening. And if you like these or you find these helpful, definitely like and subscribe below. I'm going to keep these videos coming out. And thank you very much for watching.